Friends become foes on the 4th of December when Brad Riddell and Rafael Fiziev step inside the octagon to do battle at UFC Vegas 44 in a fight that's given me a semi just thinking about the sheer carnage we're about to witness.
Oh my god, he's got a boner. Jay.
History dictates that when fighters with similar styles match up, we get spectacular showcases. Think Gaethje versus Chandler, young Jacek versus Zhang, and Ngannou versus Lewis. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you do get my point. Kia ora whanau, I'm Kyle from the Casual Corner, brought to you by the Combat Sports Network, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the upcoming co-main event banger between Brad Riddell and Rafael Fiziev. Get your lotion and tissues at the ready, and don't forget to like and subscribe to CSN. Comment below and let us know how you think this potential fight of the night is going to play out. Let's get cracking.
This is so good.
The two streaking fighters come into this fight with identical 10-1 professional MMA records. They both come from similar fighting backgrounds and have both been the subject of viral combat clips. Kiwi Brad Riddell's introduction to the common casual was a clip of a Shaolin monk taking bricks to the head. How'd you like that famous kung fu technique of using your face as a shield? That's right, the person throwing those bombs was none other than Brad Quake Riddell. Brad first donned the open finger gloves in 2013 by pure chance. He flew to Myanmar where he was scheduled for an IBO-sanctioned Muay Thai rules fight, but not long after landing found out that he'd in fact be fighting 3 times 5-minute rounds under MMA rules. Unfazed, Riddell relished the opportunity to try his hand at this new way to beat the brakes off of somebody and won his debut bout at welterweight in spectacular fashion via first-round knockout.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Although he was successful in dipping his toes into the world of MMA, he wasn't done with Muay Thai and kickboxing, and it'd be 3 years before he stepped into the cage again. Riddell had 2 more victories at welterweight, winning both fights by TKO in the second round before taking a chance at lightweight, where he'd take the first and only L of his MMA career thus far. He moved back up to welterweight, winning his next 3 fights and the Wollongong Wars welterweight title, and with that came the coveted UFC contract. Quake's second stab at a lightweight run got off to a much better start. His debut UFC battle against Aussie Jamie Malarkey at UFC 243 in Melbourne, Australia was an all-out war that went the full 15 minutes, earning Brad a unanimous decision victory and his first fight of the night bonus. Next, Riddell would test his MMA nous against Dagestani Magomed Mustafayev, a fighter unsurprisingly known for, go on, take a guess. That's right, Sambo and wrestling. Naturally, wrestlers are a tough test for Muay Thai practitioners, as we saw in Magomed's previous fight against none other than Rafael Fiziev. Riddell didn't want to find out why, and earned credit with the judges after knocking Mustafayev down in the first minute of the fight. Unfortunately, Magomed managed to recover from the initial onslaught, smothering Riddell on the mat and against the cage for the rest of the round. The next 2 rounds were a classic striker versus wrestler confrontation, with Riddell getting the upper hand on the feet and Mustafayev getting the better of the inevitable grappling exchanges. The fight ended with a bloody-faced, grinning Brad Riddell saluting the home crowd while fighting off his opponent's advances. The judges were torn, but Quake did enough to earn his second UFC victory by split decision. In his next fight, Riddell would leave no doubt in the minds of the judges, earning a unanimous decision victory over Brazilian Alex da Silva. The fight didn't get off to the best of starts, with the Brazilian getting the better of Riddell after taking him to the mat early on. The next 2 rounds were a different story, with Brad maintaining the fight on the feet and smashing his way to a hard-fought victory. In his most recent battle, Riddell would face square-jawed wannabe model Drew Dober at UFC 263, who'd been on a 3-fight winning streak before coming up against Khabib 2.0 Islam Makhachev. Be sure to check out our Islam vs Hooker preview on our channel for a bit more info on the future lightweight champion. Riddell went into the fight with Dober as a slight betting underdog. The fight started with both men swinging for the rafters and Dober rocking Brad early on. A smiling Riddell shook it off, firing back and grinding out the rest of the round with well-timed clinches and shots. The second round continued in the same vein, with both fighters standing in the pocket and swinging with the intent of knocking the other's head off, Riddell getting the better of the second round exchanges. Going into the third, it was a round apiece, with the fate of the fight depending on this final round. With this in mind, Riddell came out firing, landing more accurately and more often than his confident opponent. In an attempt to save the round, Dober shot for the takedown, which Riddell countered, attempting to lock in a Kimura. He ended the round in a dominant position, landing heavy strikes to his grounded opponent. After his back and forth war, Brad Riddell earned the respect of the fans and a well-deserved fight of the night bonus. Like Riddell, Fiziev also has a viral clip under his belt, but unlike Riddell, he was the main character in the video. At one of the many Muay Thai tournaments in Thailand, Ataman spectacularly avoided a head kick with a Matrix-style manoeuvre, leaving fans worldwide in awe and getting a nod from UFC President Dana White, who retweeted the clip. This recognition from Uncle Dana was the push that Azerbaijani needed to make the full-time transition to MMA. Fiziev would emerge victorious in his first 6 fights, with only one of those fights going past the first round. With such an impressive showing, Fiziev was called up to the big leagues and made his UFC debut against Magomed Mustafayev. Unfortunately for the debutant, halfway through the first round he was surprisingly dropped by a huge spinning back kick and finished with some heavy strikes while turtled on the canvas. Fiziev needed a tune-up, and his next opponent was the perfect matchup to get himself back into the win column. Alex White, aka the Missouri Spartan, had lost 5 of his last 8 fights before stepping in to face Fiziev. White hasn't fought since this loss over 2 years ago. As soon as the fight started, you could tell Ataman was the far superior striker, switching stances and pretty much landing at will, mixing it up and striking to the head, body and legs whilst never seeming to be in danger of return fire. The second and third round played out in the same fashion, with Fiziev dominating a bewildered White, getting the win and taking a step towards the lightweight rankings in the process. Ataman's next fight took place on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, where he'd faced Congo-born Englishman Mark Diakaze. The first 5 minutes was a masterclass from Fiziev, who landed some devastating body kicks which echoed around the arena and also managed to relive his highlight reel and evaded an incoming head kick like Neo. Fiziev applied constant pressure, roughing up Bone Crusher for the majority of the opening 5 minutes. The second round turned out to be a bit more competitive, but Fiziev clearly had the upper hand. His footwork was pristine and he landed the cleaner, more devastating strikes, and again once more we saw the Matrix style evasion. 2 of the 3 cage-side judges scored the third round to Diakaze, but the result was set in stone and Fiziev came out victorious, scoring a unanimous decision win and his first fight of the night bonus. Next, Fiziev would take on Brazilian Renato Moicano, who's a BJJ brown belt and a Muay Thai black belt. However, comparing a former Muay Thai professional to a training Muay Thai black belt is like comparing a wolf to a chihuahua. Yeah, they've sort of got something in common, but you know who's going to devour who. From the outset, Fiziev dictated the fight, controlling the distance with his beautiful footwork and unleashing some outstanding and unusual combinations, leaving fans and commentators in awe and confusing a bewildered Moicano. With a minute left in the first round, Fiziev landed a left hook to the body, followed by a right hook to the head and a final left hook to the head, sending Renato to the ground, where the referee would call a stop to the fight and to do battle with a dazed and confused Moicano himself. This stunning knockout earned Fiziev a performance of the night bonus and a fight against a big name and fan favourite Bobby Green.
What are you going to eat?
Whoa, everything, bro.
Bobby Green is a true UFC veteran with a granite chin, which is an ideal opponent for a prolific striker like Fiziev. During the first 2 rounds, Fiziev toyed with the American, who struggled to land anything of significance, whilst Fiziev teed off on an ever-game Green. The third round was a different story, with Fiziev's gas tank seemingly running on empty. Green started to outland Ataman and put him on the back foot. The fight was incredible and delivered everything a fan could want and more. The judges gave all 3 rounds to Fiziev, which was ludicrous even to me as a Fiziev fanboy. Both fighters deservedly picked up a fight of the night bonus, and Fiziev extended his winning streak to 3. Fiziev is a fighter with unmatched footwork, forward pressure and technique. During his tenure in the UFC, we've seen him improve exponentially, and this upcoming fight against Riddell is surely going to be one for the ages. Honestly, I can't wait for this fight. The bookies have the odds almost equal, which isn't surprising considering the fighters have very similar backgrounds and identical MMA records. If there's anything worth betting on, it's that this fight is going to be awarded fight of the night. Undoubtedly, this is going to be a Muay Thai standoff, as neither man likes to opt for a takedown, Riddell even more so, who loves nothing more than biting down on his mouthpiece and fighting through adversity. But he does seem to have a better ground game than Fiziev, which could be the difference in this fight. However, Fiziev's elusive footwork and head movement could also be a game changer. I love both of these fighters and it pains me to see them going up against each other, but I hope we get to see them hash it out for the full 15 minutes. On one hand, seeing how much Fiziev has improved whilst in the UFC, I'd think there might be a chance he gets the edge, but will his gas tank let him down? At the same time, he's been rocked a couple of times and Brad Riddell definitely has the power in his fist to do it again. But man, these two are phenomenal and they're proper dark horses in the lightweight division, and at any point in this fight, either fighter has the ability to change the outcome. Whatever happens, we're going to see one of the most bloody and beautiful chess games in combat sports. Well, that's our preview of Riddell versus Fiziev. Let me know how you think this one's going to play out in the comments below, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Combat Sports Network. Give CSN a follow on Instagram and Meta, and check out our website www.combatsportsnetwork.co.nz and sign up for access to a plethora of homegrown combat sports events and fights from around the world. I'm Kyle, this is the Combat Sports Network. Until next time, ta-da.